with the quick steps that you need to get your garden winter ready so you can have the best yard come spring. Hey, Owen, how's it going?
Hey, I'm great.
Good. Okay. I was going to say, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. Looking really good. Okay, cool. Owen, very pumped about this.
This is one of those things where, I'll be honest, it's probably on your list. It may not be the most fun thing you're going to do with your day, but future you will thank you for doing it because it's stuff you're going to have to probably do next spring.
Yeah.
And if you do it now, it's off the list.
It's off the list, and it makes that list in the spring a lot shorter, too.
And then you get to do the fun stuff in the spring.
Dream. We love that. Okay, cool. So what is our first step?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about cleaning up the plants in the garden.
Okay.
And the first thing that you're going to do is if you have any annuals, if you have any annual edibles, we're going to pull those out.
Okay.
You're not really adding any benefit to keeping them in there. With perennials, on the other hand, we can either cut them back or not. And the way that I kind of judge that is if it's something that has kind of a stout stem, a little bit woody, it'll hold itself up, I'm almost always going to leave those.
Oh, okay.
It provides a habitat for insects over the winter. And a lot of those plants actually look really nice in the winter.
Yeah.
So your sedum, your coneflowers, your ornamental grasses, they look great. You don't need to cut them back. And it's nice to see at least something in the garden and not just like a blanket of snow.
Yeah.
Leave those, they're important, and you can easily clean those up next spring. Hostas, on the other hand, daylilies, another one, cut those back.
What about like a zinnia?
Zinnias,
Asking for a friend.
Yeah, so that would be one of your annuals, so that you can give that a yank. And the zinnias might self-seed, so you might not even need to plant more of them next year. So
that's a fun sneaky.
But maybe we'll see.
Okay.
But those ones, you could do that, and then compost those, or you could put them out with your yard waste either way. But I'm a little bit of a less is more on that in the fall. You don't need to overdo the cleanup in the fall season.
Okay, fantastic. Now, what about weeds? Because I know you wanted to talk in particular about weeds.
Yeah, great time to pull weeds. And it's actually a lot easier to tell the weeds apart from the good plants because the weeds tend to still be green.
Okay. Why is that?
Because they're real tough.
Okay.
And they can take the cold, and a lot of our perennials, they go dormant. You know, the weather gets cold, they're like, hey, time to go to sleep. Weeds, they're gonna grow as long as they possibly can. And so it's also a time where we tend to have a fairly moist soil.
Yeah.
Easy to pull weeds.
Easy to pull.
It's super hard in the summer when that soil is rock hard. Not fun. No. But in the fall and early spring, definitely do it. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Now, what is the next step? What are we talking about?
We're going to talk about leaves. Leaves is the next thing. So leaves are the one thing where it is important to clean them up if you have big piles. But if you don't have giant piles, you can kind of leave them where they lay.
Okay.
If they fall in my garden, I leave them.
Oh, really?
I don't clean them up. They're good to go. It provides an insulating layer over the winter months. If it's in your lawn, those I do like to take off. But you don't necessarily have to do anything other than run your mower over them.
Oh,
just
really?
chop them into little pieces. They'll be gone by the springtime. And you really just want to make sure you don't leave a pile of leaves on your lawn. That is bad. Don't do that.
Okay.
And if you have any tender plants in your garden that you want to protect, so there are some edibles, maybe bulbs, I like to pile the leaves up on top of that because it's literally an insulating layer.
Oh, okay.
And then you just clean it up in the springtime when they're waking up.
So something like rhubarb, you might do like a little pile over top?
Absolutely, you could.
Cool.
Yeah, or asparagus is another one.
Yeah.
And anything that might be just kind of almost hardy where you live, that's a great way to do that. Garlic, 100% with garlic. You need something over top of that for the winter.
Okay, good to know.
A lot of people use straw if you have clean straw, but leaves do it as well.
Fantastic. Now, there is some stuff I know I don't know what it is. What are these black dots?
Yeah, great question. So this is a very common thing. So this is called tar spot, which is a really, really common fungus on Norway maples.
Okay.
This is actually one of the easiest way to tell what's a Norway and what's a sugar maple because they're very hard. If it has tar spot, it is almost definitely a Norway maple.
Okay.
These leaves we don't want to keep.
Got it.
Because this fungus will actually break down into the soil. The plant will pick it up again.
Got it.
That's the one exception. If you have anything with diseased leaves, get rid of that. Don't compost it. Put it out with yard waste. And that way you're hopefully going to keep it from coming back next year.
Okay, fantastic. I love that. Now, let's talk about soil, because this is I feel like a lot of people don't think about it, but this is a time to kind of feed the soil.
It's a great time to, take advantage. A lot of bag product is on sale at this time of year.
Love a sale.
So you can take advantage, even if you're buying it now and using it next year. Just stock up, it's cheap. And so compost top dressing, this is a great thing to do at this time of year. I would say essential for your edible garden and your annuals, but it's a really good thing for your perennials too. So something like worm castings, which is this, this is not actually compost, but it kind of does the same thing where what we're doing with worm castings is feeding the soil. So we're trying to increase the microbial activity, get a little science, and that is going to help your plants. It helps aerate the soil, so your plants just grow better without any effort on your part. This is excellent stuff. Love using that in the fall, or really whatever compost you've got and you can get. Great idea to top dress in the fall, and you're gonna have to do it in the spring anyway. Get it out of the way in the fall.
I love that. Okay,
Mulch is another thing.
So mulch, I have mulch in my garden now. I don't have to take that out?
No, definitely not. Leave it, by all means. If you want to add some mulch, again, take advantage of cheaper prices. This is something where you can kind of do the same thing that we were talking about with leaves, using it as an insulator. You can definitely do that with mulch. I wouldn't mulch your whole garden at this point. Wait till the spring to do that. But if you wanted to protect some tender plants, we do this with roses really commonly. We need to cover up the roots of roses so that they are insulated. Mulch is great for that. Just remember, you don't want a thick layer of mulch next spring.
Got it.
So if you kind of build it up, spread it out come springtime, and then that way it's not going to cause any issues for the plants that you've got covered in the winter.
Okay, fantastic. All right, now let's talk about something I feel like I don't see as much anymore. We're talking about like wrapping, you know when you see like trees wrapped up? What are we doing there?
Yeah, so a couple of different things. So I would say you don't need to wrap maybe as much as people have done in the past. I don't do it a lot myself. So if you're talking about like a burlap wrap of an evergreen, that I don't do much at all anymore. I use netting instead, because then that way the plant can breathe a little bit better. But what I use burlap for is a wind screen. So if you have something like a magnolia or a Japanese maple, some tender evergreens, it's the wind that's the problem, not the snow. And so you want to block the wind because it dries them out over the winter. And so magnolias, they set their buds in the fall. They can dry out over the winter if you have a really windy season. If you kind of make a windscreen, it'll knock it down. Magnolia will be happier in the spring. You get a better show. Anything like that. What you do want to do for young trees and shrubs like roses, we need to wrap those up to prevent damage from rodents. That's a really big issue, and it can actually kill the plant. So voles are a really big problem. They tunnel under the snow, and then they eat the bark of trees. They love maples, they love fruit trees, and they can kill one in one season, no problem. So I like to put a plastic barrier in between the tree and them, and that way they really can't get through this, or they're really discouraged. And do this in the winter, and then you take it off in the spring.
Great.
And then less is more on the burlap,
Okay, fantastic. Now, we got to talk about this. This is one thing I literally said to my husband Aaron this morning. Hose. We got to take the hose down.
That's right. Watering tools, it's really important that you don't leave them out for the winter. You want to ideally dry them. So if you can get the water out of your hose, great. And ideally store it indoors somewhere in the winter. Don't leave it out in the weather. It will really shorten the life of them. And the main thing is make sure that nothing is connected with your watering. So don't leave it connected to the tap. Don't leave a watering implement connected to your hose. Disconnect that, because that little connection can freeze and expand and split, and then you have problems. So absolutely that, look after that. It's a quick job. And if you do that, you'll be happy you did in the spring.
Fantastic. Now, last but not least, real quick, we got to talk about the tools.
Yeah, we're talking about tools.
Yes.
And so storing your tools is really important, but it's important to store them clean. We don't want to put anything metal, that is. We don't want to put them away dirty because we tend to find that they are rusty next spring. So dry is critical. So your shovel, your rake, whatever it is, definitely dry it out. Cutting tools in particular, these I will clean them and then oil them before putting them away for the winter. And so you can use, this is literally hand sanitizer or rubbing alcohol. So a lot of this organic debris that's on the blade, we want to try and get that off. And rubbing alcohol or hand sanitizer does a great job. And so just 2 seconds and you get that much off. So you want to try and get as much of this off as you can. These are my own pruners. I use these a lot. So these are ones that I've cleaned. You can see it's not perfect. But this is good enough.
Cool.
And then all we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of oil and then wipe them down afterwards. This is literally cooking oil. Vegetable oil. Yeah, absolutely. We're just trying to keep the water off. So we're going to put a thin film of oil on them afterwards. Not a ton.
So this is not to grease them. It's more to repel water.
Exactly.
Very cool.
This is to prevent the rust. And then we put them away like this. Sharpen them if you can. That's a good idea too. And that way you have a great tool that's ready to use in the spring, and it's not this rusty mess.
Owen, what a delight. My shirt twin today. Great job, Owen. Fantastic. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.